Can you talk to that about your experience with the community? Like, obviously it's brand new from a content creation standpoint, but you've been in other communities, whether it was a skiing one you mentioned and stuff. Can you just talk to that about your experience and stuff?
Yeah, as far as just like the differences between the community, or in what way specifically?
Yeah, and like, so that's I'm like, okay, this community is beautiful, right? But then I'm like, is it? And I get GSC's point, like, right there, it probably may not be the case in the other communities, but I'm not in those communities, so I can't say that definitively if there's not like those communities like that. And if you see that same distinction, or if you think the same thing, you just are like automatically like, oh, this is the better, this has to be better than all the other places. And I'm just curious in your perspective, because mine is, I'm not sure because I haven't touched any other communities. So that
Right.
was where I was looking at it from.
Totally. I mean, I'm trying my best no matter what to always keep an open mind, to admit that, like, no, everyone's missing something in their other perspective, or like, okay, most people, not everyone, because obviously, I mean, like, we haven't found a hole in Richard Hart's theories at this point, so he's pretty much almost 100%. But most people have some kind of thing that they're missing on something, or there's something they don't know that may be a missing link to a greater piece of knowledge, right, or understanding. And so, with this community, I found less of those holes, and also where there's those holes, there are people that can fill them and can make things make sense in a greater context, and make it so that everything is like just perfect in a sense. Whereas I go to other community, or if I've heard from other communities, um, it just doesn't seem like it's as well put together. It seems like there's different motivations is almost the biggest thing that I have heard from the difference between the Hex community and just listening to others, where Hex seems like people, the way they want to go about it is for, I mean, obviously it's delayed gratification, but it's more so, it's a long-term thing. It's more of an investment, it seems. People want to understand the why, the how, and everything about it. And other communities, there's very intelligent people. I've heard some people come in from the Bitcoin space and from Ethereum and from all sorts of communities that are like way smarter than I am and way more into, they know way more than I do. But when they go head to head with someone who is, let's say, completely in the know in our community, the morals, like, I mean, look at the last interview with Richard Hart, like the difference, the discrepancy in the way that are and why they were doing what they're doing, or what they were trying to achieve. That to me spoke volumes. Like, Richard was like literally saying, okay, there's an issue, there's major issues, we're trying to help people here. And then Buddy was just like, it doesn't even matter. That doesn't matter though. It's not about that. And it's just, there's this huge discrepancy. And I see that between Hex and other communities. And I'm sure that's not for everyone, but I think that's what, for me, what makes Hex so special is that people are more so in it for reasons outside of just themselves, and trying to educate and give and, expand the community, versus just trying to get people on board for the sake of, whatever.
Delayed gratification doesn't speak to everyone either. Most people
true.
hate that S. But like, clearly cryptographics isn't that guy. Clearly Sam's not that guy. Clearly I'm not that guy. So like, this community speaks to me because I'm like, oh, there's a dude saying delayed gratification and he's trying to like have a business at the same time. What is this craziness? Like, what is this nonsense? He's like, delayed gratification. He told me not to smoke weed. He told me not to masturbate all day. He told me not to play video games. He told me, and I read his book. This is all the shit he says in his book. Don't play video games. Don't sports gamble. Don't turn your TV on. Literally says all that shit. So word for word, he says, these are the biggest waste of time. They will ruin your life. When someone says those words to me, I know their intentions are pure, because those are the biggest facts that I have found true in my life.
Do you guys see this as being like the antithesis of the past, 40 years of marketing, where everywhere you turn, it's like, you want abs, quick, buy my shit, get them in 6 days.
Yeah.
You want to make $1 million, and this, at least from my POV, seems to be the antithesis of that, where it's like the exact opposite. It's, if you want happiness in life, if you want financial success, if you want a great relationship, if you want anything that you desire in life, it requires putting in the work, letting go of your ego to be at a place to accept other people's points of view, and being trustworthy of yourself to understand that Other people have incentives, and you can throw away the garbage they tell you if it is garbage, but other people also have tremendous value that they can provide. And it's like because we've seen over the past so many decades, like people just trying to sell shit, but we didn't have access. We didn't have access to put this information out to people. Like 30 years ago, it was a bunch of white dudes. And I'm just saying that like, you know, superficially or try to make a point, but who controlled all the media companies, so to speak, who were the gatekeeper to the messages that got out. Like if you wanted to advertise, you were doing it in a newspaper, very expensive. Nobody had any clue about how to do that. Now, if you want to put out that message, I mean, we can do this for free. And we have the transitioning away from like short-term shit that's been pushed for the last 50, 60 years. Hey, this is the short-term solution. Take a pill to fix your problem. Take a pill to fix your anxiety. Take a pill to fix your whatever you're trying to fix, instead of like put in the work and grow and that kind of thing. And I'm curious to hear, like, I know I just blattered on about it, but I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts on that, because I see this happening on like other communities too, where people are getting like, I'm going to say exposed, right? We can use like the political thing, right? We don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but you get to see people getting exposed because they're so tired of just this fakeness. It's not, you're going to get abs in 6 days or you're going to make $1 million in 6 months. Like that's just not going to be how it works 99.99% of the time.